everybody, and welcome to this week's Cruise Chat. I'm Kathleen Penner. I'm the owner of Plenty of Sunshine Travel. And typically for you guys who are subscribed to my channel that you've seen, every single week I meet with a different cruise line. I meet with my business development manager and we go over either an overview of their brand, or we'll go over a specific itinerary or ship. But today it's just me. You've got me, and what happened was I had something set up with one of the cruise lines, and due to last week being Cruise 360, which is a really massive gathering with a lot of travel agents, and we get together and we talk about cruises, and it's this huge convention, and it's really, really busy for the business development managers for that even though I had reminded her, the email just went off and it didn't work out, and that's okay. So I put together a show that we have, and I'm actually really excited to go over this show with you, and we're going to be covering Alaska. We have a lot of group cruises that I've set aside some really good group space, some fantastic pricing, really great perks, and some of them are for Alaska. So I thought we would meet together and I would just go over with you guys one of the itineraries that we have for our cruises for Alaska. So I'm just going to start the PowerPoint and then we'll get chatting about that. So hopefully this will all work out well. I'm not the best at sharing my screen and doing all that because usually the business development managers do it, but I think I can handle this. So basically, we're going to be talking about come and join us on our group cruise in Alaska. And that's actually a picture, I believe it is, of Ketchikan. So we're going to be going over that too. So just a little bit about me. My name is Kathleen Penner, as I said, and I am the proud owner of Plenty of Sunshine Travel. I am a travel agency. I'm located in Southern Ontario and just outside of Hamilton, actually, if you'd like to pinpoint it exactly there. And I've been a travel agent for a number of years, and I love what I do. I pride myself on being a full service travel agent. So that means that I don't only just take orders. I don't, I'm not like a restaurant person, a restaurant. I've lost what it's called. Goodness gracious. A server at a restaurant. I don't just take your order and fulfill a product. I like to put things together for you guys that is custom. I like to be with you every single step of the way. I help you with your shore excursions, your pre and post stay, if that's something that you're interested in doing. I make sure that you are fully prepared for your cruise and you've got all your documents together. And then when you're on your cruise, after I've checked you in for your flight and made sure that you arrived safely, I will check in with you once. I only check in with you once because goodness gracious, you don't want to be talking to me when you're on your cruise. So I make sure that I only check in with you once. I make sure everything is up to your expectations and everything is going smoothly. And then when you get back, I do check in and make sure that everything went well, what you recommend, so that I can pass that on to my other clients as well. What shore excursions were a hit, maybe some weren't quite what you were hoping for, and we just work all that out together. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I do and one of the many of the services that I do provide. And I just wanted to go and talk about myself because so often when I meet with the business development managers, we talk about them. And we talk about their brand and what they do. And not very frequently do you get to hear what I do. So I thought this was a great opportunity to do that. So we have a lot of groups that I have set aside, as you can see on that little list down the side. So we have many. We have a few in 2021. But in 2022, January, we're going on Oasis of the Seas. And in March, we've got Norwegian Cruise Line, and that is actually lined up to the Ontario March break. Because that one leaves from New York, a lot of us are able to drive there. So that's why I picked that one. And actually, then there's Celebrity on April 16th, and that's a Western Korean. And then the ones that I'm going to be hitting on is a Princess Cruise in July 2022. And when I had printed these little bookmarks, they hadn't released their itinerary yet, so we didn't have the dates, but I have them now, so that's great. And actually, there's one more that we're going to be throwing in there that didn't make it onto my little bookmark. And that is in September. I'm going to be doing an Avalon group cruise. We're going to be doing through Belgium. And it's going to be starting and ending in Amsterdam. And it's going to be on the Avalon Active and Discovery, which is really amazing itineraries that they have. There's a lot of great stuff, but we're going to do another show on that another day. But for today, we're talking about Alaska. And then just to highlight, in 2023, we have Norwegian Cruise Line on the Bliss, a Western Caribbean, and then Great Stirrup Cay on NCL, and I believe that was on Escape, yep. And that one goes to the Dominican Republic and Great Stirrup Cay. And then you've got the NCL Gem on October 23rd. And then all the way to 2024, I figured, well, I could lock in the price. I did. So for that one is the Pride of America. And that one goes throughout Hawaii. So that's our one in 2024. And that's May 18th, 2024. But as I said today, we're talking about Alaska. So here we go. So we have 2 Alaska sailing groups right now. One of them is July 6 to 13. And that one is Northbound. And then July 16 to 23, also in 2022, is Southbound. So you can choose which one you want. We're going to be covering the Northbound on this YouTube show today, but it's pretty much the same itinerary, but reversed for the Southbound with one exception, and I'll be going over that. So we're going to be talking about July 16 to 23, Northbound on Princess Cruise Lines. So it's going to be on Grand Princess, and the Grand Princess is one of the best ships for Alaska. And one of the reasons is just because of the covered solarium that they have and some of their other areas that are just designed for Alaska. And that she was actually designed with Alaska in mind. Princess has been doing Alaska for more than 50 years. They know Alaska. Beyond a doubt, they know Alaska. So this ship was designed with Alaska in mind. And I think it's going to be a great itinerary and an amazing ship to do. So the itinerary is a voyage of the glaciers, and it's going to be northbound. So on day 1, we're departing from Vancouver, BC. Day 2 is going to be at sea. 3 is Ketchikan. 4 is going to be in Juneau. 5 is Skagway, Alaska. 6 is Glacier Bay National Park. And on that one, we stay on the ship and we go through that and we get to see it. It's sort of designated as scenic cruising. It's absolutely phenomenal. You have to see it to believe it. And then day 7 is the College Fjord, scenic cruising as well. And then we disembark in Alaska, and it's in Anchorage, also known as Whittier, I believe. You'll have to correct me if I didn't say that wrong, and I'm sure that you will if I did say it incorrectly, and that's okay. So that's the itinerary at a glance, and it is just amazing. And the reason I love the Northbound or Southbound is just because it goes a lot more north. They can cover more ground in a 7-day than you can on just a 7-day round trip, a one direction 7-day. You get to see so much more. It's much more immersive, and it's a lot more fun. So we're going to cover Vancouver right now, the British Columbia, and this is our departure point. So this is the one that we're going to be talking about, and I always recommend getting in a day early. That's something that I really think that is super important. You want to get there. If you're coming from a different part in the country, you need to acclimate yourself to the time zone. You need to do that. Plus, Vancouver is a fantastic area to see. Those of you who are on my email list, and by all means, send me a message and I'll get you on my email list. But I covered this entire itinerary on there, so you've got a really in-depth look. And I put my top 3 things to do in each itinerary on the emails as well. So be sure to hit me up and I'll get you on my list. But in Vancouver, there are so many activities to do. It's just amazing. My top 3 that I really do recommend for this, and I'm not going to hit a top 3 for all of them, but Vancouver has so many more things to do. I really wanted to chat about that. So one of them is the Suspension Bridge Park. And that one is world renowned. We should make your reservations early for that because it really does book and sell out, especially now when we're dealing with COVID and reduced capacity. So for this one, there is a suspension bridge and it crosses the towering evergreens. You'll smell all the cedars. You'll look at the rainforest area, and there's also treetop adventures. There are 7 suspended footbridges, and it offers 110 feet to the forest floor. So you're pretty high up, and yes, it does move a little bit. It's a little scary. You can also do the cliff walk, and it follows a granite pathway along the river. There's a labyrinth like bridges, stairs, platforms, and there's only 16 anchor points into the cliff supporting the entire structure. So yes, it is high. It is rocky, but it's safe and it's amazing. It's just phenomenal. You have to check it out. The other thing I recommend is the Grouse Mountain, and it's known as the Peak of Vancouver. And it is another high energy activity to do while you're in Vancouver. You can hike up to the top of the mountain and take a sky ride back down, or you can do what I would strongly recommend, which is take the sky ride up and hike back down if you really wanted to hike. It's just a little bit easier on your body, but maybe you're into hiking and that's completely fine, and you want to be able to hike up and maybe even hike back down. There are other activities to do there. So there's mountain zip lines, there's a chairlift that will bring you up, and the chairlift actually brings you, when you go to the top of the mountain, it is 4,100 feet above the sea level. So it is really high. It's a phenomenal climb, and it's really neat to take the chairlift there. It will take you up in 14 minutes, so it's not quite as fast as going in the other way to get up to the top, the sky ride, but it's really nice and slow, and it gives you a chance to take pictures and to see those gorgeous, amazing views. So there's also a couple things for children to do that's there, and it's the Mountain Ropes Adventure. And for that one, you have to be 8 and up, so you can do it with your children for this one. And that is a series of 4 aerial rope courses with a lot of differences in degrees of difficulty. So you can balance, jump, climb, or swing, and even zip your way to the finish. So there's a lot of ways that you can get there, and it's kind of a lot of fun for kids, and you can do it with them. If your children are 8, 9, or older, you can do it right with them. There is an activity for 3 to 8-year-olds as well there, and that is the Kids Tree Canopy Adventure. And it is a fully contained, so it's super safe, and it has 3 double tree houses, and it's got 1 single tree house, it's got slides and ground games. Now, they do say you have to stay with your children, so it isn't just for you to watch, for them to watch them while you're off doing other things. They want the family adventures, they want you to stay with your children, but it is a very nice, safe, and contained area to have activities with them. If you're not too into the higher energy stuff, totally understand. There's a few things that you can do also in Vancouver that I recommend, which is there's the owl talks. If you're interested in learning about the wildlife and the owls. So they have they call them owl ambassadors. So they're there, and they come and talk about the owls, how they can turn their head completely around, which is kind of freaky, but kind of neat in the same way. And they are hosted by a wildlife specialist, and they're held every single day in the summer. So that's actually perfect for us because we're there in July. So you'll be able to check that out. You could also go and see at the same Grouse Mountain, a 45-minute lumberjack show. So they have a fast-paced entertainment. It's just a lot of fun to watch, and it does all the things you'd expect at a lumberjack show. So there's 60-foot tree climbs, there's log rolling, 2-men peg and saws. So they have to cut through the great big timbers as fast as they can and have a little race, and axe throwing, of course, plus a ton more to do. So those are some great things to do. And then let's not forget the whale watching. So the whale watching tours are really, really neat. There's 3 companies that I work with almost exclusively because I trust them and I know that my clients are going to have a great time with them. 2 of them are about 3 hours long, and they depart from Vancouver, and they're different as well. So we'll have to chat and set up and make sure that it's what you're looking for, and I'll direct you to the right one for you. Or there's another one that leaves from Victoria, so it's not too far away from Victoria, but it's a little bit of a distance, and that one is 10 hours long. So that one is super immersive, and it's really, really amazing. If you don't like any of those to do, Vancouver has so many more activities for you to do. There's foodie tours, there's a symphony orchestra if you're into that, there's the Stanley Park, which is a world-renowned park in Vancouver. There's water adventures. You can also rent kayaks and paddle boards and do all that kind of stuff. There's art galleries, anthropology, and Queen Elizabeth Park. So I guarantee that you will want to come in at least a day early, if not more, because there are so many things to do in Vancouver. And Vancouver is really a destination among itself, and it's a really nice way to start your vacation off. So let's set that up too. So on day 1, we are just going to be cruising. So we get to check out the whole ship and do the things. And Princess has movies under the stars. So they have their big screen TV. They play movies on it at night. You get blankets. They provide popcorn. It's fabulous. They have original music productions. They have dancing and all kinds of stuff, different clubs, casinos, entertainers. They have Princess theaters. So they have indoor movie theaters as well as the outdoor. They have show lounges, and they have a nightclub, and of course your bars. Plus, I mean, there's so much food to enjoy and to eat on the ship. There will be enough activities to keep you busy on day 1 as we're heading our way up to Alaska. Day 2 is in Ketchikan. And Ketchikan has so many great things to do and to see. And this is your first stop. I don't always recommend doing all your shopping on your first stop, because this one tends to be a little bit higher price than some of the other stops, just because it's the first one and they're really catching you kind of your excitement, knowing that it's your first stop. So there's outdoor adventures. There's the Totem State Park, Saxman Native Village. There's an Alaska Rainforest Sanctuary, which is so informative. It's amazing to go. Misty Fjords National Monument, the Great Alaska Lumberjack Show. So if you didn't go and see the one in Vancouver, you can see one here. It's the same activities. They're just done by Alaskan natives. And there's an Inlet Lodge and Creek Street shopping. So there's a really nice boardwalk area that you can check things out. Moving right along, we are now in Juneau, Alaska. And Juneau, Alaska is really known for their Mendenhall, their glaciers, their Mendenhall glaciers. And those are just phenomenal to see. The gentleman on the left, I think on my screen it's on the left anyways, he's standing there just looking up at these awesome, incredible glaciers. There's a ton of outdoor adventures, whale watching, glacier seeing, there's flight seeing, so we can make sure that you have a helicopter activity and then you can see it from the sky, and boy is that something. Wowie, it's incredible. And there is this salmon hatchery, glacier gardens, dog sledding, and then the Juneau tram as well. Then we're moving right along to Skagway, and that one is really known for their train. So you can do some gold panning here. We can choose that for you as well, but there's a really, really immersive and exciting train activity. So you can go and see that. It is really almost scary sometimes to see how close they come to the edge of the cliff, but it's super safe. That train runs many times a day, and it's just fabulous to see. There's a lot of outdoor activities, a Klondike Summit, Gold Rush history, of course. There's the Yukon. You actually do cross over into Canada if you take the train. Not for too long. You don't need to get your passport stamped or to go through immigration. It basically, goes up to Canada, turned around, and comes back. So you're on the train for quite a while. It's really neat. Then there's the Red Onion Saloon, and of course, dog sledding activities as well. But I'm just floored by that view. That is just incredible. And I love how close the train comes to the edge. And I know that it's a little bit scary sometimes, but it's really, really neat. And also your conductor on the train will be speaking at different times and will be educating you and teaching you all about the Native history, about what you're seeing and what's coming up as well. So it's a really, really neat thing to do. And that's what I would recommend to do in Skagway. The next day, you're at the Glacier Bay National Park on senior cruising. And it is beyond phenomenal to see. And I know that I keep saying it's beyond amazing, but to me, Alaska is just one of the iconic destinations to visit, and to be able to go and see these Glacier Bay National Parks. And only 2 cruise lines are allowed. You have to get a permit, and only 2 cruise lines are allowed into Glacier Bay National Park, and Princess is one of them. So that's really amazing that you get to see it. So they can go and you can see all kinds of different wildlife, as I've written across the side there. You will see whales, sea otters, seals, bears, all kinds of different stuff, bald eagles, and a ton of different seabirds. And you'll glide along the emerald waters and the icebergs, and we hopefully will be able to see them calving, which is breaking off. And the noise of that is just something you'll remember forever. It will just be amazing. And you'll be up at the top deck, and it's kind of funny when you're on the ships and somebody will yell, "I see a whale," and everybody will run to the one side of the ship, and you think it's going to list and tip, but it won't. And you'll see the whale, and then you'll go back to the other side, and because it's glaciers on both sides, and it's just amazing. It's so beautiful to see, and it's all the fresh air, and it's the clean air, and I love going to Glacier Bay National Park, and I just can't wait to share it with you guys. I'm super excited about this itinerary. And the next day, we're actually going to be seeing the College Fjord, also going to be scenic cruising. And the College Fjord it boasts the most beautiful, highest glaciers that there are. And it has magnificent snow-capped mountains as far as the eye can see. And the good thing is we'll be there in the summer. And because we'll be there in the summer, it's not unheard of to catch a glimpse of a 40-ton humpback whale that's there. July and August are the two main months for the whales. Now, because we're going in the summer, we're having almost 24-hour sunshine. So we really won't be seeing the northern lights, which you see sometimes in the shoulder seasons, but we're going in July, so we're going to be seeing a lot of the wildlife. We're going to see the bears, and we're going to be seeing a lot of whales. It's going to be perfect for whale watching. And the College Fjord is a magical wonderland. It's so breathtaking. You want to just record the whole thing, and to see it, just don't blink because you might miss something. It's something that you're just going to love and you're going to remember. And then we end up in Anchorage, Alaska. And Prince William Sound is there. And that's one of the neat activities that you can do when you disembark. It's up to you if you want to stay a few days longer. I do strongly, again, recommend while you're up in Alaska to explore Alaska and to check it out. But if you are flying back the same day, we should try to make your flight later in the day so that you can explore Alaska a little bit. So you could have some come and see some of the trams, the Seward Highway, Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, and there's just so many outdoor activities to do, especially during the summer. Alaska just comes alive during the summer, and you get to see so many things, and it is just phenomenal. And I apologize, I keep saying the same thing, but it really is a phenomenal itinerary, and it really is amazing to see Alaska. Now, if you're choosing to extend your stay in a Princess Wilderness Lodge, we can get you into any of these 4 lodges. You can choose which one you'd like to do. I personally am staying for a couple days, and then I'm hopping on the Southbound back. And that's why I reserved both of the itineraries. That way, if there's one that you wanted to do a little bit more than the other one, we can stay up here for a few days. So you can, if you're wanting to take the Southbound, you can come and stay at the lodges for a few days and then start your cruise back down to Victoria. Or if you took the Northbound with us, you can stay for a few days and then fly back home. Or you're also welcome to do the back-to-back with 3 days in between as well. But these are the lodges that are available, and these are custom built in the Alaska way. So you're not going to be staying in your regular hotels that are a little bit on the boring side. You're going to be staying in an actual lodge. They're beautiful wilderness lodges, and I wish I had put some of the interior pictures on there, but some of them even have a little wood stove in your room to help keep you cozy and warm. You offer fly fishing is there, so many activities to do, and Princess will definitely take care of you as well. So the itinerary that's southbound is from July 16 to 23. So we have 3 days up in Alaska, and on the way back down is the Sapphire Princess. So it'll be departing from Alaska, going back down to Vancouver, British Columbia. And it's pretty much the same activity, as I said, except there's one difference. You will not be seeing the College Fjord. You will still be seeing the Glacier Bay National Park, but you'll be seeing the Hubbard Glacier. And the Hubbard Glacier is famous for being North America's largest tidewater glacier. It's 120 kilometers long, which is 75 miles for my American friends. It's 11 kilometers wide, which is 7 miles wide. So, I mean, it's massive. And it flows directly into the Disenchantment Bay, which feeds into the North Pacific Ocean. So this is only available on the Southbound. So if you actually want to see all of the glaciers available, you might want to do the 2 different cruises as well. Come and do the same thing I'm doing, which is take the Northbound, spend 3 days exploring Alaska, and then taking the Southbound to come back. So that this way you can see all 3 of the glaciers, which is a fabulous, fabulous way to see everything. And I've created a guide. And I took the time, and I think it took me a good couple weeks to get this guide together, and I worked on it consistently, and I'm super, super proud of it. And if you would like to have the guide to create the perfect Alaska cruise, I'll put a link in it in the description below, and that way you'll be able to download it, and you'll be able to either print it or just have it on your phone, and then you can refer back to it. So it will have everything from things that you would need to make sure that you pack, to when is the best time to go, to things to do in each area. What I talk about weather, I talk about pretty much everything, all the different cruise lines, comparing all of them. It is phenomenal. It's, I believe, 19 pages, and it's a full PDF. It is just beautiful, and I'm super proud of it, as you can tell. As I said, I worked on it for a long time, and it is just, I'm super proud of it. And if you'd like to download it, feel free to click the link in the description below. Thank you so much for joining me in learning about Alaska. I really enjoy chatting and talking about different itineraries, and I actually might do this again to talk about, oh, that's another one. I have another group cruise in March of next year, March 2022, and my apologies, I had actually forgotten that when I was going through that, and that one's going to be a seaborne cruise. And I'll be doing another show in the next, probably about a month or two, and I'll be highlighting the seaborne cruise. And for that one, we are departing from Barbados, and we go to so many beautiful things. We'll be hitting all 3 of the ABC islands, so Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. We'll be going to St. Kitts. We'll be going to Guadeloupe and St. Lucia, and then 1 day at sea. And that is the beauty of small ship cruising. It really is we get into ports that you can't always get into with the mega larger ships. So that's one thing I really love about the Seaborne cruises, and this one's on Seaborne Odyssey, and I have group space on that one. So we're going to be doing this again. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you can see all that wonderful content. And I am just so happy to be able to talk to you guys and to just go over the itineraries. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's cruise chat where we went over the Alaska cruise itinerary. I know that this is something a little bit different that I haven't done very frequently. I think I only have one other one where it's just me, and I believe that one is entitled some things that you can do on a river cruise you just can't see with the ocean cruises. So you're welcome to go back and look at that one. But I hope you enjoyed this week's cruise chat. It was a little different, as I mentioned, and I'm going to be doing a few of them on just some of my group cruises, just trying to highlight some of the itineraries and to get you excited about them, as I know that I am, and I love learning. I really enjoy that, and I really enjoy learning about each port and seeing all the things to do there, and I hope that you enjoyed it as well. In the bottom of the description, I'm going to put a link to that guide that I had mentioned as we were going through of how to plan your perfect Alaska cruise. I will also put a link in the description to the podcast. I have a Cruising the Waves podcast that we have where we basically take all of the audio from all of our cruise chats and we put it into podcast form so that you can listen to it on the go. So if you're actually listening to this through the podcast, thank you so much. And if you want to see the pictures, head on over to the YouTube channel, Plenty of Sunshine Travel on YouTube, and you'll be able to just click on that same cruise chat number and the same episode number exactly, and you'll be able to see all of the pictures. So next week, I'm going to be meeting with Riviera Cruises, and we're going to be going over some of their itineraries, as well as discussing that they do not have a single supplement on many of their itineraries, which is really nice because there's sometimes you just can't get somebody to cruise with you, and it's nice to be able to explore with other singles as well, other solo travelers, and then that way you don't have to pay the 150-200%, and some of the cruise lines even charge a little bit more than that. So it's nice to see that Riviera Cruises does not do that. So head on over to our groups, and you can do that, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. And thank you so much for watching. I will see everybody next week. Goodbye, everybody.